A lot of people ask me, how do I make YouTube videos? When I first started, it was a total pain in the ass. It took me half a day just to make something that got half a view. And so after that, I realized, wow, I should be using a tool where I can just type in what edits I want. And I found that tool. It's called Descript. I want to jump into that. I want to jump into the whole process of how I make the titles, how I use Claude the whole way through, and how it just makes it a whole lot easier. It's opened up a lot of doors for me. I think that building a personal brand and having your message put out there is really important now that we've got a bunch of AI slop. Let's jump into it. So if you go and you read the Mr. Beast production guide on making YouTube videos, his is going to be like way on the right side of the spectrum in terms of intensity. And a lot of us are not full-time YouTubers. We just do this on the side to market a product or get our ideas out there, build a network. But I will say the one part that's been really helpful for me and I'm trying to get better at is the packaging, because your product or service could be better than everybody else's, but if nobody knows about it, then you've still lost the whole game. So it matters a whole lot, and it comes down to the titles and the thumbnails. So I'm going to go through titles in a second, but let's get into the thumbnail first. You're supposed to actually do this before you even record the video, but I do have a YouTube assistant where if I just have an idea and I want to get it out, then I'm working backwards into the packaging, but it is a little bit worse, I feel like, that way. So let's jump into the thumbnails just real quick. So I've experimented with a couple different ways of doing this. And it starts with just doing some research on what are the ones that are working. And I've used Canva and I've used Figma. I've also used Photoshop. Photoshop takes too long. Canva's the quickest. And I'm now really falling towards Figma because I just am fastest in there. But it was missing this remove background feature that Canva had. Now that they've added it, I'm just trying to go all in on Figma. But what I found to work is having some simple text up to 6 words. If you're doing anything with logos that are associated with a brand, then you can do like a brand jack. So one of the best videos that I've had, higher performers for my small channel, have 25,000 views in a couple weeks. And it was about Microsoft. Microsoft drops prompt management. My channel's about AI stuff, put a big logo of Microsoft and then something that shows emotion. So it's like, here's this anime guy and he's sad. So I've found that to be one of the best ways to do it. When I get like super fancy, or I try to be super fancy and I have these like weird looking fonts, it's just overwhelming and people get annoyed and they don't click on it. The new thing that I'm trying out is just doing this, which is if I'm talking about a brand that everybody knows, then I'll use the color pattern that's associated, because there's certain heuristics, there's patterns in people's brains where they'll just see it, they associate it with the product. If they like the product, if they want to learn more about it, then they'll click on it. So in my case, cool logo plus color schematic. We'll see how that works. And the same thing goes even with, we have a weekly show that we do inside of our community called VAI. And there's a popular show called the All In Podcast. So I'm like, oh, cool, let's just copy that sort of template for this. And then eventually for each channel or for each type of video that you're creating, you'd have a different project or a different page for each type of thumbnail. So as I make more of these, then I'll just be able to come in here and I can just have a template, Command D, create a new one. That's good to go. I'll typically grab a thumbnail of my face on the subject, right? So what I'll do towards the end of the video is I'll just switch into this mode and then I can right click on OBS. You can't see it, but the thing that I'm recording in, and then just hit capture screenshot. The lighting's not great right now. Lighting also matters, but then you can just touch it up, remove the background, crank up the exposure a little bit. If you want to look like your face is melted, which is what a lot of people do, then you can do, I think it's just enhanced resolution. There's some effects in here. Now that thing that you saw at the beginning, the assistant, also when you wear a hat forward, you're basically a creative director. So I'm a creative director now. No, I'm not. But the thing you saw at the beginning, this is kind of the brain behind the ops. This is video content ops. It is a Claude assistant and it has a couple secret sauce elements to it. All of these are available in the description. You can just copy pasta them, but what it is, it has project knowledge and it has custom instructions. So in Nerd World, Nerdville, you can go and write your own assistant, but we want to do no code here because we don't need to. So what is this? This has a bunch of stuff in it. This is basically a giant prompt with tools in it. I have a tool that allows you to make the screen bigger. Now, I have a tool in here that updates the to-dos for a YouTube video. Pretty cool, right? Because every single YouTube video is essentially a checklist. Checklists operate the whole world, if you think about it. And in this checklist, you have the things that normally a team would do. So if you looked at a big YouTuber, then they'd have a team and they'd delegate these different tasks. I can have it update them as we go. So when I open up the assistant and I either have a video idea or I have a title or I have a script, it will know what to do and then update the to-dos accordingly and help me get through all of them. So it's dynamic. It is trained to know that, hey, I'm going to be the first one that makes the message, the user, because it doesn't have the ability to proactively message. And it will have that one tool of the to-dos. It has examples of it. It uses Unicode, which is essentially like fancy emojis, but not emoji, to show you what's going on. So the different tools have an F for function. If you're a nerd, you know what a function is. And then it will update them as it goes. It has some things in here around how to write hooks. Hooks matter a lot. What's the proof, the promise, and the plan that you're going to do at the beginning of the video to get people to go and actually grab their attention. So why should I listen to this person? Because there's a bunch of people out there that are shysters. So why should I listen to Parker? So you basically say what you've done that's interesting, and then it will ingrain that hook of the proof, the promise, the plan into every video that it replies with. Then you have examples of titles for the title generator tool. So title generator only. You can update the to-dos, and then doing, what else is in here? Descriptions. You have the hook examples. You have the rules around how to select which tool you want to use, some best practices, all this. So yeah, that'll be in the description. You can edit it as you see fit. The only piece that you'll need to edit is the context about you, because I don't know who you are and what you've done. And then other things that are in here that make it a little bit more saucy is when you want to get examples of titles that fit your niche, then go and find them. So look around, find the people that are killing it in your niche, and then paste them all in here. So those are descriptions. Whoops. You can do descriptions as well. And then I have titles, and then I have a how-to of how to use this assistant. So that's in the description as well. And it also helps the assistant work. So this is really nice, and go and set it up for yourself. I record in OBS, and I need to change a setting so that you can see it. Cool, now you can see it. And the way that it works is I have a few different scenes. So on this scene, I have scene B, which is me right here in this corner. And then I have the desktop. I have the microphone, which is a blue Snowball, I think they call it. It's like a $40 mic. It's fine. And then I'll touch it up in the software that I'm going to show you afterwards. I have a Canon G7X. Can't show you that. It's on a UU rig mount. It's basically just a cheap mount, but it works, from Amazon, and then a desk tripod that clamps to my desk right behind the monitor. And then I have a logo for VAI, the best community on the planet. So when you get done with the video, I use Descript right now because they've released a lot of new products. Everyone's asking for, what's the cursor for video editing? And this is it. They have what's called the Underlord. And when I go into here, I basically just click new project. This button would say new project. I upload the file. So when I finish recording, it dumps into this raw OBS footage thing here. And so I grab that. The file's being written right now. That's this. It's me talking. I've messed around a lot with the frame rate. Right now it's at 30. It's still 4K, but instead of being like 6 gigs for a half-hour video, it's 580. So bringing down the quality, where it's always this comparison of quality versus file size. But I find that to be something you can play around with and get a nice file size so you can get these done quicker. And then when you drop it in, it transcribes it. Cool. And there's a couple settings that I'll go through. But in this case, 28-minute video, I'll come in and I can hit edit for clarity. And what that does is it cuts to the chase, removes filler words, digressions, blather, apparently. You can mess with the intensity. I usually just use remove filler words, but this will run, it'll show me where in here. So, whoa, big video coming out. There's some of this stuff where I actually want to have it in there. I might remove this. This would not make sense to remove. So you just read through these. That's why I don't actually use that one very much. Instead, I'll go in and I'll listen to it. The channel, my name is Parker Rex. I led tech for a startup that sold for 23 million bucks. And after that, I'll add studio sound. But if you do it in their default, where it's at 100%, then you're going to sound like a robot. So you don't want to sound like a robot. So I'll crank it down to 45, maybe 50 on the intensity. And then for audio, you have a couple of settings. Again, you can program all of these. That's the plan. I'll do a compressor once this studio sound thing is done. If you're in the audio world, it's just a nice thing to make it a little squishier, but you can overdo it. So I'll just listen to it. Video coming out. What's he saying there? We're not sure. Cool. And then I'll do a limiter. A limiter limits the bars, basically. Oh, I want it to just be stuck at a 3 dB ceiling. Cool. The last bit I'll do is I'll just jump back into Underlord. I'll grab add chapters. I'll submit it, and it'll give me a bunch of chapters. And then I say add timestamps. And then this is what goes into the export. After that, I'll just click here, and then I'll select YouTube. I'll paste this in here. If you guys found this helpful, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.